My grandmother used to say you have to teach people how to treat you. And I think it goes back to the story that I just told about my stepmother and how over the years there was a lot of strife with my white stepmother and the dynamic that we had, as well as her own family. And piggybacking on that conversation just a little bit more, I think the thing that was so difficult for my father to hear when he heard me say, you know, I have dealt with this for 40 years and I'm not dealing with it anymore. And all of the ways in which you have let me down, and all of the ways in which you have disappointed me, and all of the ways that I'm no longer interested in being in community with people who don't have any interest in seeing me as human, my value, or any of those things. I am tired of having to defend who I am and what I am. And I think, well, a part of that is so true for me because I have to work in corporate spaces and I deal with white folks and white women every single day. And every single day I have to defend something, give something, explain something, tell something, share something, inform people on something. And I don't feel any more need to defend myself in those situations than I do in this situation. And so when I was very clear with him to say, you know what I really don't want to have to do is to do this in my personal life when I have to do it in my professional life. And I understand that hit him in a way that I'm sure he is still reeling from. I don't wish my father ill. I love him. I think he is a very good man, but I think he's well-intentioned, but unfortunately has done a lot of harm by omission. Just simply not being present in his own life or with me or with my daughter, who I am his only child. My daughter's his only grandchild. And it feels like we have had to plug and play into a dynamic that never suited us. And unfortunately, it was never for us. It never felt home to us. And I think now he is starting to figure out that we no longer are interested in engaging in that kind of tertiary, long distance kind of looky-loos, right? Because literally, I said to him, I said, I'm tired of being Black entertainment television for white people who I don't have anything in common with. I wouldn't be friends with them. I wouldn't be colleagues with them because we don't do the same type of work. I wouldn't have anything in common with them other than they're good people. And, I'd speak and say hi or whatever. Even the stuff that I like to do in my personal life, there is zero overlap. There's nowhere I'd run into them. And so I had to explain, like, this is your family, not mine. You've made your choices and I'm opting out. And I think from the first time in forever, he heard me and that felt good. But unfortunately, it had to get to this point that unfortunately he felt hurt and I didn't like that, but I needed to be heard. And so sometimes you have to be heard in order to heal. I had been walking around with this kind of conversation to have with him for it had finally come to a head. And I'm so grateful that I had the capacity and the clarity and the conviction to say, I'm done. And whatever he does with that information, which, of course he stormed away like, I'm going to have a conversation. Do whatever you need to do. But don't have a conversation to defend me, to put me in community with these people because I'm really good. I said, when it comes to the Venn diagram of all the things that overlap, you're the only thing that's in the middle. Like, I don't have anything in common with them. The stuff that I like doing, the things that I can afford to do for myself and my family are totally different than anything that they're ever even able to do, interested in doing, want to do, have the capacity to do, whatever. And that's not my problem. But the comparison is tiresome and I no longer am interested. So I don't know why I'm sharing this, but I feel like it's necessary for somebody else to hear. And I hope it helps you in some way. And if you got to this point, leave a comment. Hope that helps.